overwhelming majority of crypto and finance, we'll be discussing the Ripple network and XRP. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. First, let's look at a tweet posted by the Ripple team. We're thrilled to share the news that Ripple has won two important awards from Juniper Research, the Future Digital Awards for FinTech and Payment Spend, both in categories, and the Platinum Award for CBC Innovation in FinTech. As you may have seen, Ripple is now on a big winning streak. This whole year has been a watershed moment for the value of digital assets. I mean, hell for this entire space as well. Whether or not your attention has been on it, I don't mind. All through this year, we have been exposed to and heard numerous monumental announcements. And it's interesting because, guess what? Retail focus and interest are at all-time lows, and crypto is basically dead. If it's interest you're after. All of these major announcements have been made public. It's been fantastic to watch the world's greatest institutions and enterprises adopt blockchain and cryptocurrencies, which bodes well for the next major cycle. We also know that the speed with which the Ripple has been spreading outward is unprecedented. The National Bank of Georgia has been collaborating with them on a CBDC pilot project recently. Again, many individuals make dubious comments about CBCs, but we already know that some banks, like Chase UK, have begun to restrict their customers' ability to make purchases with cryptocurrencies. The vast majority of people are unaware of many of these. And I'd say it's a huge majority of the population. The concept of CBDC control is misunderstood, and that's why I put it in quotes. Already, they have the power to dictate your spending habits and the direction of your financial resources. What I mean is, let's say you decided to start saving now and eventually withdraw $40,000 from the bank for your peace of mind. So, you've decided to buy a $40,000 car outright, without worrying about any of the finer details. Isn't that the point of it all? You walk up to the teller at that bank and say, "Hey, I need to withdraw $40,000. Do you have any idea how people will stare and ask inquiries if they find out you're wealthy? Do you have any idea how difficult it would be to accomplish? It would take them probably more than 48 hours to gather the necessary monies for you. It's absurd what they'll do to you to get your money out, but they'll hold you hostage to get your deposit back. However, if you're looking to put $40,000 in, they would be jumping for delight. They will promptly take that money. The issue lies here. Unfortunately, this is the most common misunderstanding about banks. Actually, it wasn't their money that was in your bank account. It's not your money, per se. What's even crazier is that it's all an elaborate hoax. None of it is real. A complete fabrication. Furthermore, CBDC-enabled currency already dominates today's society. Yes, obviously privacy is a major issue. However, with a bank account, do we truly have any anonymity at all? Because if they subpoenaed your bank tomorrow, they'd have access to your full banking transaction history straight away. Unless you're still using the old fiat currency, you won't have much of a private financial life or be able to make private payments. This means that even if payments are made with physical currency, they may be traced via technological means. However, this method is far safer than using PayPal or your bank account to transfer digital currency. It's worth repeating that most of this is traceable. However, I believe this is the unavoidable future. This will fix a lot of difficulties, thus it's a good thing, in my perspective. There are several problems with it. However, many of the issues we observe with CBDCs are unwarranted. Actually, there isn't much of a difference between them and the current system. But once again, there is no consensus on this issue. I'm going to defer to your collective wisdom and hear what you have to say. But beyond that, we can see that Ripple has historically focused on and collaborated with some extremely large organizations. I sent out this tweet in September, saying that Ripple is collaborating with the BIS and ISDA and being highlighted by the IMF and the World Bank. They have been meeting with central banks for years, establishing trust and exposure to XRP while these massive institutions and central banks consider the wider picture. Listen, that's the one thing that excites me most about XRP, the publicity it's receiving. I'm referring to the various avenues through which XRP will be introduced to the retail industry. The odds are high that blockchain technology is being used if you are tapping into several products and tokenization activities. And you never know, it might be XRP or Hedera or something else entirely. Looking at XRP, the XRP ledger has over 150 applications. Plus, there are tens of thousands of applications possible thanks to the EVM compatibility sidechain. Now, that's a tremendous bloom effect around retail adoption. But consider all the enterprise-level adoption that Ripple could inspire. I mean, the exposure of XRP might very well be far larger than what anyone can imagine, which is really very exciting. The potential future development of XRP in the year 2034 or within the next 5 years is also intriguing. The pace of adoption is expected to increase, but only over a relatively little period of time, according to the author. People are making too many comparisons between Web 2 and the rate of adoption in the sector, in my opinion. And that strikes me as a really unreasonable course of action. Because, Web 2 moves slowly inside its own confines, but far faster than Web 1. The process of widespread implementation, however, has been gradual. And much of the adoption, what we've seen of the internet, was through social media platforms. MySpace and Facebook, for example, were two of the most popular. Of course, by the end, Twitter had already established itself as the dominant social media platform. When we consider Web 3.0 and the widespread use of its technologies, I believe that payment apps will play a significant role. Decentralized social networking, marketplaces, and other platforms are where it's at, in my opinion. Nevertheless, not only this. I've already mentioned how successful Ripple has been recently. Ripple is dedicated to providing practical crypto solutions for APAC businesses, and we've recently learned that they've been granted a license to do business in Singapore by the Monetary Authority of Singapore to issue digital payment tokens. Paradoxically, the adoption of blockchain technology has behind the financial services industry by around 4%. And over here, this statement from June of this year should not be confused with the one in which Ripple was granted permission to provide services related to digital assets in Singapore. In addition, this would have allowed it to more efficiently expand its on-demand liquidity business by using XRP. Now, what makes us distinct, just 4 months after we acquired our in-principle permission from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, Brad Garland House, that he was immensely proud of the team at Ripple. We are now a fully licensed major payment institution in Singapore, offering both digital payment and token services. Now I'm going to talk to you guys about why this is such a big thing here in a second, but I first want to go over this story. It's a manageable length. It's pretty short, right? You won't go completely insane. The MPI license application that Ripple submitted to the AMAs earlier this year was granted permission in principle. After 4 months of anticipation, the Singapore branch of Ripple Markets has finally opened. The MPI license for APAC's digital payment token services in Singapore has been finalized. This license is a significant step forward in the widespread acceptance of digital assets since it validates the practical value of crypto solutions for corporations and financial institutions. Businesses and financial institutions can take advantage of the benefits of crypto for international payments, crypto liquidity, and central bank digital currencies in Singapore because of the country's reputation as a pioneer in digital asset regulation. Since we established our Asia-Pacific headquarters there in 2017, Singapore has played a crucial role in the expansion of enterprises around the world. We regret to inform you that our presence in a forward-thinking jurisdiction such as Singapore has doubled over the past year thanks to the addition of excellent personnel and local leadership. The Singaporean Monetary Authority is in charge. By prioritizing innovation, consumer protection, and ethical development, Singapore has emerged as a global leader in the fintech and digital asset industries. To reiterate, this is fantastic. And, when we were checking out Singapore, we noticed that they'd grown into a major hub. And by the way, the world's top financiers all think that cryptocurrency will be around for the long haul. Almost half of Asia-Pacific finance leaders intend to utilize crypto for cross-border payments in the next year, and 90% think blockchain and digital assets will have a substantial or massive impact on business, finance, and society within the next 3 years. The total number of cashless transactions in the Asia-Pacific region is expected to rise by more than 109% by the year 2025. Furthermore, this area will remain a top priority for Ripple as it seeks to expand the use of its worldwide payment services. Once more, it was plain to see why Singapore had become so important. Now, why is this such a huge deal? On June 30th, we witnessed Ripple's CEO outline their plans for the future of Asia following the company's licensing success in Singapore. Now, initially, there is no wild discussion about liquidity on demand here. In contrast, we get the Q&A session below. So, as you can see, the MES has approved the MPI license in principle. Consequently, what does this imply for rippling processes? Our existing operation in Singapore can now proceed with confidence thanks to the approval. Our customers in Singapore and throughout the APAC region who are interested in exploring blockchain and digital asset technologies for their cross-border payment and treasury use cases can now take advantage of the regulated digital payment token products and services we will be offering. So once again, this was a major development. Now that we're on the ground, we see that there's a strong appetite among clients in the Asia-Pacific area to interact and explore blockchain and digital assets, as seen by the region's increasing on-demand liquidity flow. Gaining this MES approval will speed up regional uptake of products and services that utilize digital assets. This will let us serve these forward-thinking consumers more effectively and expand our offerings to create a monetary system that is less exclusive and restrictive. Here below. What do you see? When can you expect the MES's entire license, which is this document right here? In theory, we need to fulfill certain requirements before the MLS will grant us a license. Therefore, we are working non-stop to fulfill the requirements. Timelines are not specified. In the past, licenses were often issued within a 6 to 9 month window. They understand it now. In what ways will its capacity increase in the urban setting? Where will these funds and new employees come from? The main emphasis is on talent development. They do stress the significance of employing outside the US 90% of the time, though. They also spoke on the importance of teaching students how to use digital money and other real-world solutions. But if we take a closer look at Singapore, the reason this is so important is that they have received their full license, which allows them to pursue all of the initiatives they had planned for digital assets, including XRP, in the Singapore region. As a result of this, I anticipate significant progress being made. And as we all know, Singapore is putting all of its eggs in the crypto basket. As you may have heard, on October 1st, Singapore became the first country in the world to grant a significant payment institution license to cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase. Additionally, on October 2nd, Swiss crypto bank Signal Singapore arm gets complete permission to perform brokerage services in Singapore, and the regulatory approval was given to crypto liquidity provider GSR. What else have I said? Oh, and Singapore is picking up steam in digital asset blockchain arrays as companies want to expand. As I've remarked many times before, there's a worldwide financial race to adopt and utilize blockchain-based services. You won't believe it, but just like in the 60s, there's a competition to be the first to implement cutting-edge technology. And once more, we're beginning to see this materialize. Let me clarify, you are listening outside of Singapore. The United Kingdom, the United Arab Emirates, Hong Kong, Singapore, and so many other areas want in on the cryptocurrency boom, and even India has acknowledged that cryptocurrencies will play a significant role in their economy in the future. If we take a closer look at adoption, we can see that it is just going to pick up speed. Whether you want to accept that or not, the race has begun. I don't mind. Not at all necessary. All of these announcements have occurred around the same time in Singapore, and they all relate to the introduction or approval of significant new digital payment or blockchain-based service options. Seeing the urgency of the situation, they are eager to adopt this technology. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please hit that like button, turn on my notification bell. See you in the next one, bye.